Hey guys, I'm going to show you how I'm going to mount the Spuhr ISMS SP 5001 mount. So it comes, I did the unboxing earlier, but there's one piece and the other halves of the rings. So we're going to mount that on. Everybody has a different preference on where they're going to want their scope. I've already kind of figured out where I want mine. So mine's actually going to be a little bit towards the back of the rail. I'm just gonna slide it in. Take it off here. The screws here fit into the slots for the Picatinny. I've already loosened this up, so I don't have to waste time doing that. I'm just gonna slide that in. And tighten it down. Just like with everything, you don't want to tighten each one before you've even snugged all of them. So I'm going to go through and just kind of hand snug the screws in an alternating pattern. And then once I have them all snugged, I will go back through and actually tighten them. Alright, so those are all tightened. Next thing we need to do is put the scope in. So you're just going to sit it in there, and you want to make sure that you are not resting on either of these surfaces. You want to stay on the shaft and not be clamped on any of these tapered radius sections, because that's going to screw up your scope. Alright, so we're just going to set it in there. Then we're going to take these other halves, mount them in, but we're not going to put them in 100% tight. So these got a lot of screws, so I'm just going to pause the video and we'll come back. Alright, so I got the front half and the back half of the rings mounted. It's still loose, so I can rotate the scope, and I'm not resting on either of those surfaces I pointed out a second ago. Now this mounting system comes with a shim. Put it somewhere where you can actually see it. And on my other mount, I will show you. So this is my other one that I have that has a 20 MOA cant on it for longer range. There's a slot right here, and it's actually on that one as well. You just can't see it from where things are mounted. Basically, we're just going to slide this in, and it'll fit on the flat part. It'll fit against the flat part of the scope and force it to be level. Now, that's going to get us pretty close, but we're going to fine tune it later on. So, let me go ahead and do that. So I'm going to rotate it. Ow. Alright, right there. Okay, so now that it's quote-unquote level, we're going to alternate tightening these just like we did before with this, where you hand tighten one, move the next, cross all the way through. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and do that and be right back. So before I go through and tighten all these down and actually anchor the scope in, one thing I forgot to mention, it's a good idea to try and fine tune your level just to make sure that you are as close as you can possibly get. So one thing that I have done is, you can't see it, but in front of the rifle, I have hung a strand of 550 cord with one of my wife's weights to keep it nice and tight. And it's basically hanging perfectly straight up and down. So what I'm going to do is just look through the back. It's a little too close to be able to see it clearly, so you're going to have to kind of play the trombone until you can see the string and then your reticle, and you just want them to be in line with each other. If the string is slightly off, or I guess if the string is this way, if your reticle is slightly off, you just want to rotate it a little bit. I've already kind of checked this; is pretty dang close, but I'm just gonna fine tune it a little bit, and then finish mounting this all the way. At that point, your scope will be properly aligned. The advantage to this mounting system versus just straight rings, if you check my unboxing video, you'll see that there is a level on the base part of these rings, so I can make sure that my rifle is properly canted so that I know that when this is level and the reticle is level with the string that I've hung up, I know that everything is driving correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and mount that now. One other method to level, and then I promise I'll actually do it. So like I said, I've got this level in the base so that I can make sure that I've got the correct cant. Well, if you have another level, you can set it on top of the scope, and you can get it that way as well. So that one. Let's get the bottom level. That looks pretty good right there. All right, and I did test it. Doing it this way and doing the string method gets you pretty close to each other. So either way is probably going to work for you. It just depends on what you're going for. Well, not necessarily what you're going for, but it just depends on what you have time for and what you have the equipment for. All right, so I'm going to finish tightening things down. All right, I'm just finishing up the last few screws, just making sure everything is nice and tight. While I was at it, I was testing. I told you that the level and the string worked pretty well. I also just tested it with the level and the shim. I actually think that was closer. So if you go with the shim, you're probably doing pretty good. Make sure everything's tight now. Should be good to go. Alright. All the screws are tight. One final check. We're going to level the mount. I say that looks pretty good. Okay, so the scope is now mounted. All right. Let me know down in the comments if you guys have any questions. I don't pretend to be an expert at this. It's just this is what I've done and it seems to work. So, all right. Thanks, guys. Bye.